Tyler, what's this mean to, obviously a lot of guys get an opportunity to be the star of the guy up on stage for these events. What's it mean that you're the guy now to be up there and get the questions thrown at you?
Yeah, it's really special. Just really like a full circle moment. Not too long ago, I was one of those guys on the Louisville team and looking up to the guys that are up on stage and just dreaming one day I'll be there. And, today getting ready, preparing for all this, and just seeing everybody here tonight. It's really special and just humbling experience.
Thinking back to your playing days, Dan describes this as, for the players, as kind of like the aha moment, like, okay, here we go. Does that kind of ring true if you think back to those days, like we're the leadoff dinner, it's time to go?
Yeah, I mean, for the college guys, for sure.
Yeah.
The pro guys, we still have a little bit more time until we ramp up, but for the college guys, like right when this night happens, you wake up tomorrow and it's the season. So I know they're all amped up, they're ready to go. But yeah, this was always like the night when I was in college when it felt like the season was starting for sure.
Looking back at your playing career, how did playing for Coach Mack and Louisville kind of help you gear up for some of the day-to-day grind of minor league baseball?
Yeah, that's been probably the biggest contribution to my success is just the coaches here, my teammates, just everything I was taught here. But Coach Mack in particular, man, like whether it was on the field, off the field, he was kind of like, in a way, like a father figure to everybody. Like, it wasn't just on the field. It wasn't just baseball stuff he talked about. It was, religious. It was, how to treat people the right way. It was teaching us life lessons. But everything that he taught me at school in my 3 years here, I've experienced in the minor leagues. Some kind of struggle or some kind of failure, how to come out of that has been really, really helpful to me. And just I learned that through Coach Mack, really.
Were some of those things that you mentioned right there, whether it be, some of the religious things or some of the off-the-field things, were some of those things kind of some of the main things that drew you to this program as a high school kid?
That's a good question. No, not in particular. It was really just about winning. I wanted to come here because I wanted to go to the College World Series. So that's what drew me here. But on my visit, I was treated so well by all the coaches. I was familiar with Eric Snyder. He recruited me at Illinois before he came over here to Louisville. So, I knew before I even committed to Louisville, even took my visit here, that Snyder wanted me. And then getting to meet with Coach McDonald, after that, I committed a week later. So it really was a no-brainer for me. All the stuff I learned here at school that I just mentioned had nothing to do with it, but I'm really glad with my decision, obviously.
What was it like when you finally got the call from San Fran that you were getting called up to the bigs?
Yeah, it was really crazy. It was a whirlwind of emotions. It was really weird, though, because I was an everyday player in AAA, and they gave me 2 off days in a row, and I was like, what is going on? This was the last week of the season. And then I played the next day. And in the 4th inning, I get taken out, and I'm like, man, what is happening? And my manager just sat me down. This was in Salt Lake City, and he just said, hey, we're pulling you. We need you healthy for tomorrow. You're going to the big leagues. You got a flight in 2 hours. So my wife and I hurry up, pack up the locker, get to the hotel. We were going straight from Salt Lake back home. We're actually coming to Kentucky. So we had our whole apartment in our hotel room. So we packed it all up and then got out to L.A. as soon as we possibly could. And it was great because I didn't really have time to think. It all happened so fast. All the emotions didn't really hit me until I got to the field the next day. But it was actually just like a dream come true.
Are you able to put all that into perspective at this point now that you sit back and look at how the whole thing unfolded?
Yeah, for sure. And that usually happens after the season. When I'm in season, I'm so just, my eyes are forward. I keep my head down. I don't really look back at success or failure too much. It's just every day at a time. And after 2 seasons ago, after I debuted, I was able to kind of it really sunk in. I just made my debut. I was able to enjoy it. And kind of the same thing with this past year. I had success, especially in the second half, but I really wasn't able to enjoy it until this off season, which I really sit back and think all the positives and negatives I went through. And at this point, I've definitely, it's sunk in for sure.
That first time walking out, on that major league field, is it like, wow, the dream just came true? What kind of moment was like that for you?
Yeah, definitely a little bit of that. Not as much as I had in my head, not as much as your mind can play kind of games on you. You build up this moment to make it bigger than what it actually is. And then when you're out there on the field and you look across the diamond and you're really just playing ball. There is some nerves, obviously. You know, you want to do well your first game, but not really as much as I had built up in my head. When I got out there after the first pitch that I saw, I felt right at home and I felt normal again.
Can you walk us through maybe just a couple of like the phone calls that you made after getting that call? Like, you know, I mean, I guess maybe I'd assume the first one's to your wife, or maybe you waited to talk to her in person, but just some of those conversations right away, just and the excitement there with, you know, maybe family and friends.
Yeah, that was the best part. And my fiance at the time, my wife now was there in Salt Lake City with me. So I called her down from the stands and I was like, hey, like I was just gesturing to her to meet me down in the locker room. And she had no idea what was going on. She probably had a clue, but she didn't know. So I was able to share that moment in person with her. As far as my family, calling them, my agent, everybody else, I had to wake everybody else up because it was past their bedtime. So that was really cool. And then they didn't even sleep that night. They got on a flight that next morning and made it out to see me.
That's awesome.
Everybody good?
Thank you, Tyler.